Welcome to Momentum Monday. Today is April 29th, 2023. Howard, where are you right now?
I am in Amsterdam. I somehow broke my laptop, so I'm calling him from my working iPhone.
Are
Hello,
you there
everybody.
for business or for pleasure?
Both. A lot of my LPs are friends, so just on the way back, we have one company here as well, but on my way back from Europe, and I was in Tel Aviv for the weekend, so I just broke up the flight home. Where are you today?
I'm still in San Diego, but I'm leaving in a few hours.
Where are you going?
So I'm going to Barcelona first, and
Oh,
then
that's where.
I'll make my way through there. All right.
Great.
So let's talk about the market. I don't know if people in Europe care about the stock market, but here we had like a quick shakeout earlier in the week,
Yep.
like on pretty high volume, not really high, but a big sell-off on Tuesday, when everyone became bearish all of a sudden. And then if you look at it on a weekly, it was just a pullback to the rising 10-week moving average, and then a quick bounce. After that, obviously a big reason for that were the earnings from Facebook and Microsoft, which beat the already pretty lowered estimates, but they were enough to change market sentiment. And the indices, at least the large cap indices, remain very resilient. The dips continue to get bought. And in the meantime, most of the breakouts to new 52-week highs are kind of faded. Like we don't really see like an immediate follow through that you typically see in a bull market after a breakout. Those breakouts typically nowadays lead to a quick, swift pullback to a 20, 50-day moving average, which shakes a lot of people out of the market. This is what people are saying, that this market is choppy. But if we look outside of Facebook and Microsoft's earnings, quite a few companies were hit pretty bad. We go through like First Solar, breakdown, ENPH. Like this is the solar space, which was a big leader last year. Were you going to say something?
I was going to say we had I don't own it, but we had been talking about First Solar looking strong and solar energy, and then boom, gone. Um,
It could be just temporary shakeout, but it's a pretty, significant drawdown. As you can see, they're down 50% from their 52-week highs. Well, some of them 20, so I guess not that bad for First Solar. But also Pinterest, Snapchat, pretty significant breakdowns after earnings. All of the software names like Cloudflare, um, Alteryx,
oof.
back near, I think, near all-time lows. So there were pretty significant hits on earnings. I think the couple groups that stood out were restaurants. Chipotle Mexican Grill, they just broke out to new all-time highs. Look at it monthly. It's up 50 times since its IPO in 2006. I remember reading on your blog in 2006 that how you would buy the IPO no matter what the price is. And I
Yeah, I
hope I
think
hope I hope you held. I doubt it, but it's up 50 times since then.
no, I did not hold that one. Amazing company. The McDonald's, I think too. We talked about the restaurants; those are doing well. But it's
Yeah,
like what's good for Microsoft's cloud doesn't seem to be good for everybody else's cloud. Microsoft, um, I wrote a little bit about it, but I was with Yoni from eToro, and he was walking me through how Copilot works. He's an engineer, even though he's the founder, no longer coding. He was walking me through Auto GPT, which doesn't have a UI for people like you and I yet, but he was, you know, engaging with Auto GPT through kind of like a DOS, uh, you know, keyboard prompt format. and I could not believe how much work you could get from writing a business plan to creating a marketing plan. It just continues to scour. It continues to like do work behind the scenes as you ask it questions, and really just gathers information. I can't explain it because I'm not an engineer and I don't understand, but I saw it happening, and it really did feel like the computers were, well, they definitely were thinking. And obviously, what Yoni said to me was, he can see it very quickly a place where his engineers aren't coding, they're just managing auto GPT because it'll make less mistakes. Um, so again, I think this is much like another revolution. There's going to be a complete disruption to many industries, maybe legal, maybe health, maybe education, even engineering,
Yeah.
and design, and even websites. You can build websites off GPT, off instructions, so coding. So the market is digesting all this. At the same time, it's digesting 5% interest rates. It's digesting um, bank crisis, which everybody seems to be an expert in right now. I mean, the simplest explanation, if we pull up Exxon for a sec, um, Ivan, they're sitting on a cash pile that's earning, I think the CFO just talked about, it's earning 4%, and their debt is 3%. So they're like a bank. They're the reverse of like the bank's problem, right? They are paying out less than they're earning on their cash from the bank that they're putting out of business. It's like Twilight Zone, where Exxon's a better bank than a bank, but it's an energy company. So this can't last. I have no idea. Like, everybody seems to be an expert, but I have no idea how that works. Where the borrower, the company, is earning more on its cash than the lender. The lender, which is important to the economy, is being put out of business, and we've got this massive inverted yield curve that goes on and on and on. So I'm going to let everybody explain to me what that means. For me, it just means, I think you're seeing it in the market, just stuff breaks out. For every Chipotle's, there's 10 that don't follow through. Is that about right, Ivan? So it's like the success rate is not great.
Yeah, exactly. Not 10, but maybe at least 4 or 5. They're breaking down.
Yeah, in a bull market, they just go and go and go. Now Chipotle, obviously in a 20-year time frame, has just been in a bull market, so it's a great company. And the idea is to find those like Apple,
I mean,
Google, and
they
hold
still
them.
had they still had like 60-70% drawdowns, which probably
Yeah,
shook everyone out. So
yeah. So, um, I it just feel it's just one of those tough markets, and I think we're not done. I can't imagine with 5% interest rates and banks failing. And but I continue to be optimistic because we're not in like it's the market's not imploding, it's just rolling. Is right. What are you doing, Ivan, on a swing trade? I'm kind of out. Like, I continue to
yeah, I
just
mean,
stick with.
I'm trying to take just the strong setups, which last week, were Nvidia and Microsoft. Just play them on the short-term time frame. And I do suspect that after the bear market trap we had early last week, we will have a bull market trap. The QQQ
Yeah, that's
breaks
what I
out.
feel like. Let's also remember that as good as Microsoft's doing, it can't do acquisitions. The Activision deal was cut down. Um, and so if we look at Google, who they're going after and end rounding, and Amazon, Google and Amazon aren't going to be allowed to go play catch up
Yeah.
with Microsoft so easily, the way the governments, are behaving around. So I don't know. And then, so I don't, I'm going to wait and see how the S&P kind of result. But at the same time, as in Amsterdam today, biking on going down there one fancy shopping street, the Pradas and the Hermes and LVMHs, and I'm fascinated by people lining up to buy the ugly stuff
Hmm.
with the high margins. But as I keep saying, that's what's working, selling to the degenerates. Excuse me, catering to the degenerates, and I don't mean it in a negative way, the DraftKings of the world and the casinos. And the LVMHs. What America is doing quietly behind the scenes, if we look at like Deckers, which is kind of like an American version of LVMH for, I don't know, the middle.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a return. If we look through all their brands, it's not quite LVMH, but so it is pretty interesting.
Yeah, they have a few brands,
That
basically Deckers and Hookah. These are the two main ones. Um,
Yeah, no, but they have a ton of brands that they've bought. So what's interesting about Europe, Ivan, and I think I keep saying this, is that the economies aren't great, but the companies, they're great companies. I think LVMH crossed 500 billion uh, this this month or this week. So, you know, four of the top 10 companies in France are fashion companies. So fashion design, catering to that 5 to 10%, especially the 1%, for some reason is still working, and that's how the wealthy are flexing outside of the Monte Carlos.
it's
So
interesting to
we'll see.
see. So in the past 20 years, you have the S&P up like 5 times, gold is up about 6 times, and then you have something like LVMH, which is up 20 times, and Chipotle 50 times. So a much better way to protect the purchasing power of your money, owning growth
Huh.
businesses.
And anything with limited supply, like Bitcoin, right? Another halving's coming up over the
Yeah.
last 20. No, I mean everybody jokes, and like if we look at crypto, like America's basically shut for business, but Bitcoin and Ethereum have just done phenomenally over 5-10 year periods. Um, so again, anything with limited supply and scarcity, and like I keep saying, it's going to be easier for LVMH and Hermes to get into tech than it is for Google and Amazon to get into fashion and
Mhm.
Facebook. I got a demo. My friend on the beach was wearing the Ray-Ban. They're about a year old. I didn't notice until the end. They're very, very nicely designed Ray-Bans with um, camera in them, and it's a Facebook camera. So that if we pull up Apple, we know that Apple controls your ears. They control your brain through the fingertips, and they're going to come for the eyes. They're not going to let Facebook and Luxottica and Ray-Ban win that. So Apple's the only company outside the LVMHs that's a fashion company. It's the only tech company that's a fashion company. So they figured it out with the watch. They're going to figure it out with the glasses. That's the one big epiphany. It looks like Apple and Microsoft are the ones.
Yeah,
And
and
that's what
Nvidia,
the
yeah. Mhm.
yeah, but Nvidia is, again, for sure, but it's trading at such a valuation that it's hard to fathom. But yes, the market is saying Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple, LVMH. And that's holding up the market, right? Like there's just a lot of carnage underneath that. So if you're indexing, you're benefiting from owning those big companies. So, all
Yeah,
right,
the
well,
Nasdaq. Okay, let's catch up next week then.
have a safe trip. So, how long are you gone for?
2 months.
How much?
2 months.
Dude, you're living the Howie life. I like it.
Yeah, I'll be working from
So,
there. So yeah.
good for you. You are going to love it, but you're leaving during the best time of the year in San Diego. So, I'm not going to see you in San Diego.
Well, that's fine. We'll see each other next time.
All right, buddy. Have a good trip.
All right, thank you too.